I have started the live stream and we are now live. Madam Chair, please call the meeting to order.
Okay, welcome everybody. I call this meeting of the Arapahoe County Planning Commission on November 10th, 2020 to order, and we will now call the roll. Mr. Reynolds, please.
Chair Rick.
Present.
Chair Pro Tem Latsis.
Present.
Commissioner Brockelman.
Present.
Commissioner Miller.
Present.
Commissioner Saul.
Present.
Commissioner Save.
Present.
Commissioner Woolman is absent and excused. Good evening, everybody. I am Jason Reynolds with Arapahoe County Planning, and I'll be serving as the moderator for this evening's online meeting of the Planning Commission. We are streaming this meeting on our website, arapahoegov.com. The agenda will be managed the same as it would be for a regular in-person meeting. You may stream the meeting on our website or call in to participate. Please note that the website broadcast is delayed by 20 to 30 seconds. So if you would like to speak regarding any public hearing items, please use the call-in number. If you would like to participate live via phone, call 719-569-5048, and when prompted, enter the conference ID number 190-804-109, followed by the pound sign. All presentation PowerPoints are available on our website, so even if you participate by telephone, you can still download the PowerPoints and follow along with the presenters. Chair Rick, please proceed with the approval of the minutes.
Tonight we have one set of minutes to approve from the October 20th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. If there are any changes to the minutes, please include those in your motion, and I will accept a motion to approve the minutes if somebody is ready. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Commissioner Latsis. I move to approve the minutes as submitted.
Thank you, Commissioner Latsis. May we have a second to the motion, please?
This is Commissioner Save. I second the motion.
The motion has been seconded by Commissioner Save. Any discussion? Otherwise, Mr. Reynolds, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brockelman.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Commissioner Saul.
Aye.
Commissioner Save.
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Latsis.
Aye.
Chair Rick.
Approved. Aye.
The minutes are approved on a vote of 6-0. We will now move on to the public hearings section of the meeting. The public is invited to participate in the public hearing this evening. If you would like to comment on the public hearing item, please call 719-569-5048. When prompted, enter the conference ID 190-804-109, followed by the pound sign. I will call on individual telephone numbers after the Planning Commission Chair opens the public hearing. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the Planning Commission on this topic after the staff presentation. The applicant and staff will respond to any questions after all members of the public have spoken. The public hearing item this evening is quasi-judicial in nature. In order to afford all parties due process under law, the Planning Commission members must be fair and impartial in deciding whether those applications should be approved, approved with conditions, or denied. In making that determination, each member of the Planning Commission must consider the record, which includes the staff recommendation, the applicant presentation, public comment presented during the hearing, and other written public comments offered before or during the hearing. Under law, Planning Commission must evaluate the proposals based entirely upon the record and the criteria established under the Land Development Code. Those criteria are highlighted in the staff report. It is important that each Planning Commission member remain objective and capable of considering information offered into the record during this hearing. Does any Planning Commission member believe that he or she is incapable of evaluating and voting on the application in an unbiased and objective manner, believe that they may have a conflict of interest, or have any other matter that he or she would like to disclose prior to proceeding with the public hearing for the item on tonight's agenda? Hearing no disclosures, I will turn this over to the chair.
Okay, we have one public hearing item tonight. We will now consider a service plan proposal for metropolitan districts in the Sky Ranch development. Molly Orchid Larson with Arapahoe County Planning as our staff presenter. Ms. Orchid Larson, please begin. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Molly Orchid Larson, Senior Planner with the Public Works Department. What's before you tonight is the Sky Ranch Metropolitan Districts. The Sky Ranch development, as you know, is a mixed-use community consisting of 927 acres, and that is outlined in the yellow dashed line here. The applicant, Pure Cycle Corporation, is seeking to amend and restate the existing service plans for the metropolitan districts number 3, 4, and 5, and create new service plans for proposed districts 6, 7, and 8, totaling 775 acres, and that is indicated in the red, within the red boundary here. District 1 is in existence, but its service plan will not be amended, and District 2 has been dissolved a number of years ago. District 1 is located here, and that is Neighborhood B for the Sky Ranch development, and is presently under construction. You have District 5, which is in a majority of the land within the red boundary, and then down at the bottom you have from left to right districts 8, 7, 6, 3, and 4 indicated in the white here. The undeveloped portion of Sky Ranch will provide services to 2.09 million square feet of commercial property and 2,898 single-family and multifamily residential units. The new districts, along with the existing districts, are to provide improvements, facilities, and service necessary to develop and serve the Sky Ranch development. Some of the services that they're proposing, or these services they are proposing, include water and sanitation facilities and services, stormwater and storm drainage facilities and services, street improvements, safety protection facility and services, transportation facilities, mosquito control, park and recreation facilities and service, television, relay, and translation facilities. The county did hire an outside financial consultant, Jason Simmons with Hilltop Securities Incorporated, to review the proposed service plans along with staff. This consultant recommended bonds issued by the district for district improvements and secured by the debt service mill levy and the regional improvement mill levy may not be outstanding a period to exceed 40 years beginning with the year of issuance. Staff also asked the applicant to provide the county with a list of regional improvements that would be constructed by the districts, and the applicant has complied with both the 40-year comment and also they provided a list of regional improvements. The current development plan anticipates the cost of improvements to be approximately $295 million. The proposed service plans anticipate only $300 million of debt. However, the existing districts are proposing to increase the existing maximum debt limit to $312 million. Considering the findings and other information provided in the staff report, staff is recommending approval of this application. This concludes my presentation. The applicant is here tonight along with his attorneys to answer questions. Mark does have a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation that he would like to go into detail on the project with you. But before that, if you have any questions for staff, I'd be more than happy to answer them, or other staff members. Any questions?
I guess, Molly, there aren't any, so we can now hear from the applicant.
Okay, I'm going to switch over to his PowerPoint. Okay, Mark, you're ready to go.
Perfect. I appreciate that. My name is Mark Harding, and I'm the president and CEO of PureCycle Corporation, and we are the developer of the Sky Ranch project. And we're delighted to be before you this evening and continue our project and talk a little bit more about how we are amending our service plan and also establishing some new districts out there. Molly, I'll let you move to the next slide. As you all know, the next slide is really just a proximity of where we're located. We're located in the I-70 corridor, right off of the Interstate 70 at the Air Park interchange. That alignment is with the Monaghan roadway alignment. Also, I did want to mention with me today is Suzanne Mitzner and Marianne McGeady, who are the smart people that were able to pull together these highly technical documents and really make them conform to the state statutes and how we need them to read in order for us to be able to issue bonds that are collateralized by the mill levies from the district. But if we have any questions, they're also available for a resource to answer some of those questions. The next slide, if we want to really hone in on what our ask is here today, it is just to expand our debt authorization limit from 166 million to 312 million. As Molly teed it up into her presentation, it really does increase the debt authorization for specific reasons. The service plans, when they were approved in 2004. So they're about 16 years old. Public improvement costs have increased dramatically over that period of time. What we've got is kind of a highlight of some of the improvements for you to take a look at, which include transportation, parks, open space, water, sewer, storm drainage. There are several regional improvements with this project. We have an interchange right at the interstate. We have some section line alignments. We have Monaghan Road, which will be a regional road that interconnects into multiple jurisdictions, whether that goes north into Adams County or west into the city of Aurora. We have 6th Avenue, which is another section line arterial, which also is a east-west interchange that connects with the city of Aurora. Hazelmont Road, which is a north-south alignment, which goes into Adams County and down into city of Aurora, and then Alameda, which is another east-west arterial roadway. So very significant roadway transportation corridors associated with this project. Move to the next slide. This is kind of our service area. Molly did a great job of already delineating that. The remaining part of the project is somewhere between 775 and 780 acres, depending on the alignment there on the frontage road along the interstate. So that's a good delineation of that. Next slide. This is kind of an illustration of some of the improvements that we're looking at together with the county in a 1601 process at the interchange at Air Park. What this illustrates is kind of a what they call a barbell circle interchanges, where we can add these interchanges to the existing roadway and then add extensions to the frontage alignment. What this does is allow continuous flow of traffic both on the north side and all of the components of the Diamond interchange. So that's part of the 1601 process, is to determine, you know, what the roundabout alignments need to be, the sizing of the roundabouts, what kind of traffic capacities these illustrate, and we're working together with CDOT on these improvements. That's part of an ongoing process. The next slide. Some of the additional streets and section line alignments. These are kind of the big ones that are on the section lines with Hazelmont, which has some First Creek crossing issues, 6th Avenue, which also has some crossings of some major drainage ways, Hazelmont and Alameda Avenue. So all very large arterial roadway alignments that go into multiple jurisdictions. The next slide. Again, parks and open space. We've really had a coordinated effort to have a continuous flow of parks and open space throughout the project. So we have some rec centers, a network of trails and open spaces that serve both a regional and a local network of open space and corridors. Next slide. Drainage improvements. You know, we do have. We're at the kind of the high side of the drainage. That line sort of on the right side there is kind of the high point of the drainage going to First Creek versus Box Elder Creek. So the majority of the project does drain into First Creek. And then we just kind of manage the detention of those stream flows to make sure that we have historic stream flows on that. So there's some significant improvements attributable to natural drainage corridors within the project. Move to the next slide. And then, you know, traditional water sewer infrastructure, we've got about 40 miles of water distribution and sewer collection lines and about 20 miles of stormwater collection lines to be able to manage all of the stormwater flows that come into the project, detain those for historic flows, and be able to make sure that all of this infrastructure works and coordinates together. So next slide. So then the bad news is, you know, how much does all this cost? So we've gone through engineers' estimates, both internal and external, to kind of give us an assessment of how this is going to come up, and the updates from what was probably a more cursory view of this project back in 2004 to really determine that, you know, we do need to have an increase in the overall debt capacity to be able to pay for all this infrastructure. So those cost totals come up to that $295 million. And really our ask today is to increase it to $312 million to give us a little bit of room in terms of some cost overruns and the life of the project as we continue to build it out. We move to the next page. So one of the things that's really important for us to kind of continue to accent is, you know, what are our mill levies and how do our mill levies at Sky Ranch compare to surrounding mill levies either in the city of Aurora or other projects in Arapahoe County? And what this illustrates is, you know, we're right in line with our mill levies. Our existing filing is incorporated into the Sky Ranch Metro District 1. Those are where the homes that if you've been out there, those are where the homes are right now. We have about 220 occupied homes. And so the mill levies there are going to be consistent with the mill levies that we have for the proposed amendment of 3, 4, and 5, and then also for the other districts of the 6, 7, and 8. So we're really making our mill levies consistent with the first filing into the second filing. And as you can see, they're right in line with comparable mill levies of comparable master plan projects in our area. Next slide. I think that might be it. So really, we are grateful for the opportunity to update our service plans and really kind of conform that to making all these infrastructure investments. It's a very large project with a lot of infrastructure, bringing a lot of investment into the corridor and into the county. And I think we're certainly conscious of, you know, not burdening homeowners with more than their proportionate share. Colorado, as you know, is a grow pay its own way state. And we want to make sure that these districts have the capacity to build this infrastructure consistent with their obligation to maintain that and have their impact be paying for this specific infrastructure. So I would open it up to any questions if you have any.
If there are any questions from the Planning Commission, I am going, or the staff, I will read each name individually, starting with Commissioner Brockelman.
It's not really a question. It's just, I don't know, a little bit concerning, Mark, that the debt is basically doubled since original. And I understand that there's 16 years, but boy, that is a huge amount of debt. And I guess the only concern is that with that kind of debt, that the project doesn't go belly up.
Yeah, and we too are very, very concerned about that. And you know, debt really The debt authorization is a function of the assessed value of the community and the mill levies that you have. And so one of the two things that you need to be sensitive of is, even though we're raising the debt level, our mill levies are consistent. And so those mill levies contribute to this. And, when you take a look at large master plan projects and, the weighting of mill levies from commercial to residential, the commercial component of this project does pay a weighted portion of what these improvements are going to be. So I would say that, it is a high number. There are some big regional projects that, would necessarily get participation from some of the other jurisdictions. And we may not need to issue all that debt. But a lot of times, a lot of these projects, timing doesn't always match up. So the timing of our development may not match up with the timing of some of the things that are going on in the city of Aurora or Adams County. But then some of those will come in line later as a component as they develop their properties and be able to repay those obligations, because they're going to benefit from this infrastructure as well.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Brockman, are you satisfied now?
I am.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Miller? Hearing none. Commissioner Saul,
No questions at this time.
Commissioner Save,
I just had a similar question/comment that Commissioner Brockelman already asked and was answered, so nothing further.
and Chair Pro Tem Lapsus.
Oh, no questions for me. Thank you.
Okay, well, I have a question, and I guess it follows up on what Mr. Brockelman commented on. Your amount of commercial to proposed single family has increased a lot more for the commercial, and you're decreasing single family. And I realize that this is all just projections. But things are going to change. And are you satisfied that you're going to be able to get all this infrastructure in without altering those numbers again?
That's a good question. This is what the current visibility is. And because we're in the ground and we're working on it, I think we do have a good balance where we have down zone the residential side of this and up zone the commercial side. This project certainly benefits from its proximity to the interstate. And so it's probably one of the most highly sought after commercial corridors there, just because there's nothing else that has the convenience of this particular area. So we're excited that, if I were to say that we would see any amendment to this thing, if the development gods are with us, then what we would see is likely an upgrade to some of the commercial aspects and, continue to generate some of that sales tax revenue, generate that commercial property tax revenue, generate some open space tax revenue for the county and all. So, we really do want to capitalize on smart planning for that interchange and smart planning for that commercial quarter.
Okay, I find it curious, and I've seen a lot of service plans for special districts, and granted they're filled with financial projections that are created by experts, and we have to take it on faith that the numbers that have been created are accurate, but there is projected to be no cap on the O&M and no cap on the RIM, I guess the Regional Improvements Mill Levy. And does that mean you really can just the sky is the limit?
It does not. Well, you have a practical limit in there. You can't be out of market in terms of the O&M mill levies. We have a combination of how we handle the O&M mill levies, where we have a fee that's charged to every resident out there in addition to the mill levies. And so right now, I think our mill levies are only like 10 mills for the O&M district. And you want to keep those a bit flexible, but there's a practicality to the upper limit, or else you'd lose your marketplace on those. So, you know, I would say those are very, very modest mills that would be incorporated into that. And, you know, it's just the way the statutes are set up and the way that the controls are set up that you have some flexibility with the O&M mills.
Okay. I did notice that in the Hilltop Securities report, his goal was to determine if the proposals are reasonably sound. So I guess my assumption is he found them to be so, and I hope that is accurately referenced in the documentation on this. Because if it isn't reasonably sound, I do remember what happened to the Castle Pines North Metropolitan District. You know, things can go awry. So I hope your numbers are reasonably sound.
You're right. And we don't want to get over our skis. And we did work very closely with Hilltop and Jason in developing this proposal and the recommendation. So.
Okay. Any other comments on Planning Commission at this time? Okay, this is a public hearing and our moderator will call on individual telephone numbers to participate in the hearing. And as a reminder, if you have questions, we will collect those and the applicant or staff will respond after all callers have offered their comments. Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you. Let me review the attendees list. We currently have 0 callers. No members of the public wishing to speak.
Okay. So we have no callers. We don't have a last caller. All right. We will ask the applicant to respond to any further questions from the Planning Commission or from the members of the public, but we don't have any members of the public. So therefore, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the Planning Commission for a motion and discussion. Are there any additional questions before we have a motion? And members of the Planning Commission, you are content? All right, hearing none. I will accept a motion regarding the proposals.
Madam Chair, this is Chairman Latsis, Chair Latsis. I'd like to make a motion.
Thank you.
So in the case of SD 20-001, Sky Ranch Metropolitan Districts, existing service plan amendments and creation of service plans for new districts, the Planning Commissioners have reviewed the staff report, including all exhibits and attachments, and have listened to the applicant's presentation and any public comment as presented at the public hearing. I hereby move to recommend approval of this application based on the findings in the staff report.
All right, we have a motion made by Commissioner Latsis. Is there a second?
Commissioner Brockelman seconds.
Commissioner Brockelman has seconded the motion made by Commissioner Latsis. Are there any further discussion? Otherwise, I will ask Mr. Reynolds to please call the roll.
Commissioner Brockelman.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Commissioner Saul.
Aye.
Commissioner Save.
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Latsis.
Aye.
Chair Rick.
Aye.
The motion on the Sky Ranch Metropolitan District Service Plans passes on a vote of 6-0.
Thank you. And this concludes our public hearing item. And our next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for December 1st of this year, 2020. Are there any further announcements from the staff?
This is Jason, and I don't have any announcements.
Thank you.
Allowing Jan a moment to unmute herself if she wishes.
Thank you. I also don't have any further announcements, but I would like to thank everyone for being here.
I'll add my thanks as well. I appreciate all your hard work with helping us in this great project, as well as staff. Staff's done a terrific job. You got a great resource there.
And since tomorrow is Veterans Day, I'd also like to say thank you to all of our veterans.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, my announcement is that this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
See you in December.
All right.
Bye.
See you next month.